So this is part one of cleaning up a product image for publication, for publishing, online or in print. So as a starting point, this is the supplied image in raw format. Now you'll see that there's a few imperfections here. So to start off, what we'll do is we'll clean up the little imperfections that we have here. Oh, there. So this is before. So, and this is where we want to go to. So what we'll do is, this is the starting point, and this is where we want to be. Okay, to do this, there's a few little steps. So we'll just start off. There's, we'll just make sure everything, you can see that okay. Okay, and yeah. So basically, what we do is we just get the images to the vibrancy that we want and the correct bright and contrast. And we just brighten up the colours as best we can to really reflect what they look like in real life, as the photography usually, the photographs usually pick up these speckles here, which you really can't see in real life, and also the whiteness of the enamel, which you really can't see which is much brighter in real life, and then the edges. So there's 3 steps. So what we do is the overall, we just get to the right brightness and contrast, right vibrancy, we brighten up the white, cleaning up the imperfections, and then cleaning up the edges. So there's 4 things there: brightness, contrast, vibrancy. Number 1, that's number 1. Number 2 is brighten up the white. Number 3 is cleaning up the imperfections, and 4 is cleaning up the edges. Okay, so let's start off with getting the right. Now stage 1 is getting the right brightness and contrast. So this is the brightness and contrast tool that we use. So we just want to brighten up those, not too much, just enough to just get those colours really popping. Okay, that's very simple. That's stage 1 done. I don't think, sometimes we need to play around with vibrance depending on the photograph. You can see here that we don't really see what it looks like. We don't really bad, and really, but we just bring that back to 0. I think the photographer has done a good job there. It's the right vibrancy, so we don't need to do that. So that's stage 1 complete. Stage 2 is looking at this white here. Okay, so we want to brighten up the white. Let's do that. Let's use the select tool, hold down the shift, get all those whites that should be white but just kind of a little bit off at the moment. And this makes a huge difference to the overall end image. And we don't want to, like, it's just, what we're doing here is little hits. We're not doing huge amounts, with little tweaks. So we get that, we select it, we get a brightness tool, brighten it up, deselect, that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Now what we can do, we go back, is we can feather it if it's a little harsh, which is always good practice. Let's modify that, feather it, 2 pixels is fine, and then brightness, okay? Brighten up those whites. Let's have a look. That looks good. Let's have a compare to what it was. Yeah, I think we could brighten it up a little bit more. Let's do that. Brighten that right up. That looks good. And there, the contrast with the bright white and the bright colours really makes those colours, which is so signature of Meab enamels, really pop. So that's stage 2. Stage 3, we want to clean up all these little imperfections which the camera has picked up. You don't really see these in real life, the earrings in real life, you don't really see these. So it make a huge difference if we just do little clean up here. So let's go in. I like to work anti-clockwise from the corner here. So let's do that. And for this, we use the clone tool. Check it out. Just there, clone, and we just, now we can make that brush a little bigger. I prefer to really zoom in on this. Let's really zoom in. Okay, and work quick. Okay, so this is really quick. I'm just kind of zooming in, zooming out, cloning, picking up all those. Oh, make that a little smaller. Yeah, this is a really quick process. So just following one little bit of the enamel at the time. There we go. Make that a little bigger. Kind of, you need to work with the brushes here, make them bigger. We just use the bracket key for the shortcut in Photoshop. Zooming in, yeah. And we're just cleaning up all those little imperfections there. Little speckles. This make a huge difference if we do this. You already see, we've already, see the difference there in that corner. When we've only like smudged, well, not smudged, cloned, apologies, cloned out a couple of them, and it makes a huge difference. So we just clean this up here. We go in so close that when we zoom out, you don't notice the difference here. But it makes a huge difference to making a very clear image. And I like to kind of within the solid cut like areas, as for example, like in this white area here, in the main solid areas, those are the bits we want to really make clear, to make it visually nice for the buyer to view the product. So I'm just talking and working at the same time here. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a head cold, a bit nasally. So we just, so this makes a huge difference. And after this, we're going to just clean up the edges here, you see there. But we just go through section by section of the, there's nothing to be afraid of. We can always go back and undo, Control Z. We can always come back and undo what we've done if we don't like it. It's quick snaps here. We don't want to drag the clone because you get like this, you don't want to do that, say like this. We want to, just little bits at a time, and that is all we need to do. It's this little minor editing. It's like zapping spots on a face. If only we had this tool in real life for our faces. Anyhow, just going in here, and I think we're nearly done on one earring. So we will have a little zoom out. You can see that's already, we didn't do a huge amount. We just compare one earring to the other. We just cleaned up here. We cleaned up in here. The little black specks. I think we've done enough. So we're just going to work on this earring here, and we're going to compare it with this one at the end. But it'll just be quicker if I just show you one image, one item at a time, one thing at a time. So we're zooming in really close here. I'm perfectionist. I like to get things kind of like little things niggle me, so I just have to get in there, like this one there. It's, I like to kind of really, make sure that the enamel is looking as best as it can. So we're doing really well there. I think we've done a really good job here. Perhaps let's work on this, and this, we make the brush a bit bigger here. So it's just hold, clone, hold, clone, clone. So I think we've done a good job there. We've cleaned up all those nasty little speckles. And yeah, so that's stage 3 done. So we're going to go into stage 4, is cleaning up the edges here. Like you see, there's the camera or the has really picked up on the kind of any imperfections that are there. So we just want to like iron those imperfections out as best we can, whilst retaining the reflection as much best we can. But every time it's nearly like trial and error. We start off with a good part of the enamel, the good edges there. We use that as a guide. So this is good here, this is a good guide, so let's go with that. Let's start there. And I think that's a good guide. So same deal, we're doing the clone image. We're going to go in there. We're just going to drag it out to the edge, you know. And cloning it is great. We can always like, you know, let's just go for it, you know. Let's just go for it and get those edges looking really sharp. Oh, too far. Getting too excited there. Let's go for it. Let's go for it, yeah? Let's just go for it. And let's have a look here. You see there, we've got the edges looking really good there. So we'll just keep going. Now this is a bit of it. We can see this. So we just, you know, we're just going to keep going with this. Like, we can always go back afterwards if it just looks a bit too much, too far done. You know, it's the beautiful thing about Photoshop. We can just undo what we've done. There's nothing is ever permanent. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's have a look at that. Now, it looks a little bit much, but you know, I'm going to keep going because, you know, this is trial and error. We don't want to go too far, but at the same time, we want to make it as clean as possible. Let's have a look here. Did we go too far? Yeah. This is there's no really right or wrong. Excuse me, my head cold. It's the first time I've done a video like this, so we're just, you know, I don't go for it, and you know, sometimes halfway through when you look at something, it's not as good as you'd like it to be. Like when you feel like it's not working in one area, just go up to another area, and yeah, that's going to look really well there. Like, you know, it's just this. Now, for me, I don't know if that reflection is really going to serve the overall image, so I'm just going to go take it out. So we've got a reflection there. You know, it's just one of those things that we can look at afterwards, you know. So before, it's sometimes you just gotta go for these things and see how it works afterwards. Like, I like to excuse me, I'm talking and thinking at the same time. I'm not very good at that, but you know, we can go back afterwards, and what we'll do is we can go and use the burn tool, and we can create our own own sense of depth on those edges. So we kind of want to create that depth, but most importantly, we just want to make it clean as possible. So we can create that cleanness, and then we can create the depth afterwards. So we're still on stage 4 here, which is looking at the edging of each enamel. It's just the nature of the enamel. Again, the molten glass. So what we do is it's the challenge of the photography of these of the Meab enamels is that because it's made from a molten glass. It's very reflective, and we just need to calm down those reflections a little bit. So because what happens is the reflection you just see the white of the reflection and you don't see the colour. So it's been a long challenge with Meab to get the photography right. So Photoshop has been a great tool in really just showing what the enamel should look like. It's been I'd say 20 years. This is the best solution. 20 years from when we first started taking photographs of the enamels. It's been a bit of a process, but experience has said that this is the best method for us to really get the best image for each shot. So see there, we've really cleaned up those edges. We're kind of, compared to here, we still have a reflection. The colors are popping. It's where we want to be. Now there's bits here that we're not. It's not exactly it looks like it's over photoshopped. Do you know what I mean? So we don't want that. But we're just we'll work on it afterwards. What we'll do is then really just try and get it as, really kind of clean. It's important. And we're just really using our, our eye to kind of get that. I think we're going really well with that. I think it's going really well with that. I think I'm really happy with that. Now we can see here that there's you want that kind of a dark edge. That's a bit too dark here. We don't want the erase tool. We keep the clone is our friend. The clone tool is our best friend with this. Okay, so we're just gonna, you know what I mean? We're just gonna get the right balance throughout the perimeter of the enamel throughout. So we want to get the right balance. If it's too dark, one edge, it looks good. It's not gonna, it's getting that balance. Right? So I think we've got the balance. So let's go straight in there. So I think we've kind of got as clean as we can using the clone tool. So we've got as good as we can using the clone tool there. So we're going to switch over to this great tool here is the burn and dodge. So this can really help with getting those edges darkened and creating that depth, which is what we want. Okay, so let's go in there and let's kind of you can see here, if I go like this, really, you see what it does. It kind of creates that, it shades it out, it brings a tone or two darker. So we don't want to go too, we can only go back so far, can't we, with Photoshop? So let's go in there and let's get those edges kind of looking, get those depths and those darkening those. And it's ever so slight, but because we're zooming in so much, when we zoom back out again, you really notice that. You really notice the depth. So you can see there, we're getting that depth that we want, and the reflection is really nice there. It's a little bit we've got a little bit, but we're just gonna go with what we have and work with what we have, because that's all any of us can ever do anytime is go with what we have. So that's the kind of ideal, is having that little bright copper edge, just there. So what we might do afterwards, when we got this depth of focus, we might just borrow some of that. We don't just clone it into where it's needed. Alright, but what we're doing is we really want to get that, depth, clean depth with the reflection, really, it's, this is a really good tool to just do that. It's only one of, it's really nice. That's really the perfect edge there. The perfect, it doesn't look dark up that way. But you'll see here now, okay. So you can see there that we've really kind of, I think that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Now it's, it is good. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, so it might look a little off circular for some reason. It's just, well, we can work with that. We can do anything we like in Photoshop. So I'm going to do here, is like I'm going to look at the reflections. I'm just going to really want to get these edges good and the depth here. It's probably like the second part. Part B of stage 4 is getting that depth around the edges. So let's just work at the depth. To create the depth, is that like have that reflection, lovely reflection, and that, you know, the shadow or the edging there. So that really, you know, creates the depth. So this reflection here. So we've done okay. Let's just get this reflection looking really sharp. You know, for some reason this reflection is like a little off here. You know, so we'll go back to the clone tool for 2 minutes. And you know, it's kind of like playing around. Like we're playing around with this. This might not work. Might be good. Yes, that's cool. It's working. It's working. Yeah. I think that's kind of looking good. Yes. Like it's not a perfect like crescent shape. Do you know? But you know, it's good. It's a good reflection of what the animal looks like, and I think we're working quite well. Okay, let's go down and see if we can just clean up these little bits. Okay, I'm just gonna go here, and I'm just gonna. No, that's not working. That's not working. That's not working. Let's undo that. Okay. Let's go here. There's no perfect way of doing this. It's just trying to get where all we're trying to do is get an enamel looking as best as we can. Do you know? So, and it's like it's fudging and playing around. I think that looks pretty good. Do you know? I think it looks really good. Let's have a look here. Yeah, like we see the difference. Do you know? You can see the difference here. We can just go back to the clone tool. Now, all I'm here, I think we've got like at the edging pretty good here. So I think it's as good as we want. I think maybe, yeah, we're good. Now we're just going to do the final tweaks. Okay. Probably stage 5, but this is the final tweaks. Excuse me. So we just do the final tweaks here now. We're going to use the burn tool again. And we're just going to like burn that there. We're going to like really just going to get in there and just create that depth a little bit. Do we want that? No, that's too far. Too far. Too far. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I think, you know, we really bought the enamel. We could go a little bit more dark here, I think. Oh yeah, I'm happy with the enamel. We just do a quick compare of the two earrings. So, could clean it up a little bit more, will we? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that. Okay. Are we ever happy? Are we ever happy? You know, we could just do a little mess here. We do like a quick clip, quick select a tool here, and let's see. Let's just bring this up. You know, this edge, could it be better? Could it be better? I suppose that's the question here is like, could this be better? How do we make it better? It's kind of like, it could be better. Let's do that. Let's make it better. Oh yeah, let's make it better. That made a huge difference. You know? So like, yeah. I think that's really, that's a good one. We could do that. So what we do there is we've done that and it looks good. And you know, yeah. That's nice. Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that, and then let's kind of like maybe just do a little, see what that looks like over here. Just do a little copy of that little layer and bring it around. And we just do quick transform. We can distort that. We can make it in. Let's zoom in. Yeah. You know, we can just do a little raise there. Blend it in. I suppose the question is, we're just trying to make everything a little bit better. Do you know? Just trying to make it a little bit better. That's all. Like if you feel that edge is a little bit spring, then it's a bit too much. That's a bit too much. Do you know? I think just bring that. I am happy with that. We could spend more time, but we've already spent a good bit of time on that one enamel, and this is we just flatten that in, flatten the image down. This is a long process for each one, but the thing is just to really just go for it, make the mistakes, and learn from them, and just keep going. I think, you know, it's quite a satisfying job to do. Like we can see what we've done there, compare the two rings. So we just go from the beginning. So we clean up the edges, and just there. So I suppose to recap, what we did was to recap stage one was to get the vibrant and the colours the way we want them to look. So we used the brightness, this tool here, brightness contrast, and then that was very short. Sometimes we might play around with the vibrancy, just depending on the supplied photo. Stage two is to brighten up this white. So we just kind of use the magic tool, selected it, and we brightened that up using the brightness. Okay. Stage three is clearing out the little imperfections, cloning, using the cloning tool and cleaning up all those little black imperfections. It's little touches within, especially within the solid bits of colour, like the solid bit of white here and the solid yellow, clean up that, like, you know, we did that here. And just the speckles, which, you know, just kind of clean. We just like look like dirt, but they're actually not on the enamel. It's just if the camera picks up on every single speckle. That's stage three, and so stage four is the edging. So it's kind of like in two parts. We brought the colour out as much as we could to the edge here, while keeping an eye on these reflections. And then we would need to, like, wherever we've kind of pushed out the colour a little bit too far, we kind of want to still create that depth here that we have, like this is good. And we use the good edge as a guide, but we want to, like, when we start this process, we use the good edge as a guide, but we want to push out the colour as far as we can to the edges, and while keeping the reflection. And then when we use the clone tool for this, and then after we've used the clone tool to smooth out the colour to the edges, we look at the overall enamel, and then we want to create that depth with the edge there. So we use the burn tool, and we kind of go in and we kind of burn into the edges and see how that looks, kind of. And then from there we kind of look at the edge, just kind of keep track and could this be better, kind of asking ourselves this question all the way through the book. How do we make this better? For example, here I just kind of like, you know, just took a little magic wand, or not magic wand, the select tool, and cut it and paste it and use the transform, image transform here. What we do, we usually go Control T, but it's usually Edit Transform wherever it's gone. And yeah, I just usually Control T. Oh, Oh, maybe that's it. Edit. Yeah, the transform. There's that transform. Oh yeah, of course I have to select something to transform it. So like select the yeah. So that's transform. Anyhow, it's a transform. So you kind of use that. Deselect, please. So I've lost everything. Okay. So that's basically it. So and then we kind of just keep looking and seeing and comparing all the way through. And you know, we want to take like we could spend. You could spend any amount, any time, loads and loads, hours upon hours, really perfecting this. But what we're looking for is just like a tweak to the enamel. We don't want to make it completely different. This is just, you know, this is good. This is good. This is where we want to be. We could spend a long time. We could spend days doing it, but we don't have days for each enamel. We only have like, you know, at most you want to spend in half an hour doing one image. Like really don't want to be spending any more time than that. So yes, so that's the overview of how to prepare enamel image for publication. Publication or publishing. That's it from me, and hope this video made sense to you. Thank you. Bye.